Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live money news up at Desawe Kanda. Also live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. And also you can watch us as we're streaming live on at Facebook at 3FM 927 and also on X at 3FM 927. Remember, Hot Edition is probably brought to you by Old Mutual. Do great things every day. We'll tell you a bit more about Old Mutual as we go on here on Hot Edition on 3FM and 92.7. Coming up this evening, pre-budget survey reveals businesses want government to review key tax handles, including the electronic transactions levy, said to be severely impacting operations this year. This evening, we engage the business community on their concerns. Plus, we get expert opinion on what the economy of indeed should be looking at in the coming days, plus the issues relating to the nuisance taxes that businesses are asking to be scrapped. Also, base pay negotiations between the organized labor and government ends inconclusively, with labor reportedly demanding 40% increment in base pay. We'll tell you the latest as we are gathering from that engagement. Also, National Security Minister Albert Kandapa condemns attack on national security operatives by residents in Garu as well as the excesses. We'll bring you details of that, plus the latest in business, sports and entertainment coming up for the next 60 minutes. I am Alfred Ocansey. Let's get into the details now. A significant majority of businesses sampled in a survey say they want some key tax handles reviewed by government. The study put together by audit firm KPMG reveals businesses have this year been severely impacted by cedi depreciation and inflation. This comes in the week the finance minister is expected to present to Parliament the budget estimate for next year. Here is a news desk report.
Businesses sampled in the study say their operations were significantly impacted by the cedi depreciation, inflation and high interest rates. Notable challenges highlighted include power supply, access to capital and skilled labor. On the tax environment, 89% reported adverse impact of tax on their operations. 76% want government to review the electronic transaction levy, while 68% want a review of the COVID-19 levy. A significant 68% also want a review of import tax. The finance minister is expected in Parliament on Wednesday to brief the House on the budgetary estimates for the year 2024.
Oh, that was a news desk report. Let's see a bit further on this. Reverend John Awoni, Executive Director of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, is joining us on the telephone. Reverend John, thank you so much for your time. Reverend John Awoni here on Hot Edition. And I know that for you and the beverage and food industry, a lot of you are concerned about the impact of the taxes and then also the utility tariffs on your business. What are you expecting of the budget in the next 48 hours that the finance minister is expected to present?
Thank you very much, Alfred, and good afternoon to your listeners. Apparently, we have spoken a lot days to the budget or weeks to the budget, and we are expecting that the feedback we have given to government concerning some of the policies that were enacted and implemented in the 2023 budget will definitely help him to be able to give us a better work in the 2024 budget. We expect that the government, as a matter of fact, should be able to come out with policies that will inure to the benefit of the private sector, that will start to relieve some of the challenges and the rigidities in the private sector. We expect that in terms of the manufacturing sector, electricity tariffs must be watched at because it is very having a very heavy toll on the manufacturing sector, making the cost of our products quite high. Of course, in your new desk report, you talked about the taxes, the removal of the COVID-19 levy, removal of reduction of general import duties, and then also the issue of the excise tax on the food and beverages that were implemented. I don't think that those things have had any positive impact on revenue mobilization for the government and also for the manufacturing sector. Generally, I think that the government must come out with a very, very great policy that will engender growth and development in the private sector so that it can mop up the excess, the mass youth unemployment that is becoming a threat in the development of this country. The private sector is not doing well, and it is having an impact on the levels of unemployment in the country. So we expect that the government must reduce my finance minister must cancel some of the taxes, reduce some of the taxes, and broaden the tax net. Just this week, I had a pitch. I did a lot of pitches of some few stuff. And in one of the cases, I spent almost 5,000 in one small shop. They gave me just a normal receipt, no VAT. Again, on another occasion, I spent about 3,000 cedis, no VAT. Yet, there are some shops, some places that you go, because the places have been very well modernized, put together. You buy a product 300 cedis, and they are expecting you to pay a VAT and some other taxes. So there's a lot of, we have a lot of people outside the tax bracket, and the government basically has to focus their attention in bringing these people into the tax bracket. The government the finance ministers must come up with policies that will improve upon the digitization process so that they can remove the human element in it and let the machines do the work. And in that case, we can be sure that they will be able to mobilize more money into the tax basket of the country. So those are our expectations, that the government must deal a lot to deal with the manufacturing sector. For agri sector, I don't think that we have a lot of time to do it, but I think that we need a lot of work to be done in the agricultural sector so that we can be able to be self-sufficient in some of the things that we do, such as rice, such as poultry, the soya beans, and then the maize. We should be able to do a lot more better in those areas. And we need policies that will come out to be able to promote this. Not necessarily increasing taxes that they want to protect the local industry, or necessarily canceling, putting bans on imports of some of these products. Though we are still far away from the issues of coming out with policies of banning imports and that stuff. There's a lot to be done to improve on our irrigation sector, a lot to be done to improve on our agronomic practices in the country, a lot to be done in terms of processing, and a lot to be done in terms of storage. There's a lot to be done in the area of the rice and the chicken. These policies have to come out addressing these things so that in 5-6 years to come, we can begin to talk about bans and all that. Otherwise, we will continue to go around cycles.
Indeed. And I'm going to hold you in a bit, Reverend John Awone, because Professor John Gachi, Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, has been listening to all the issues you've been outlining. Professor Gachi, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. Now, would it be a realistic expectation of the business community to have of this 2024 budget to have taxes, for instance, the e-levy and then also COVID-19 levy removed, when government has a very tight fiscal schedule and needs all the revenue it can get within this IMF program that we find ourselves in?
Well, I think ideally, expectations should be based on problems identified to be addressed. And as we know, the business community has expressed difficulties in dealing with the multiple taxes and some of the specific taxes. It is only proper through the engagement that should reflect in the budget. So one is expecting that they will take off the COVID-19 levy. They will also see to it that they lower the rate of taxes or levy on what we call the e-levy. And those are the things that have been expressed by the business community. So one is expecting that the budget will reflect that. And there is one thing that we are missing. Taxes alone do not build a country. Taxes alone do not generate the needed growth of the economy. You need a business sector to engage in proper businesses to generate the growth for the economy. You will need entrepreneurs and businessmen and women to feel free to engage in productive activities to generate the needed growth. So if you are only interested in collecting taxes from the business community and from all of us, no matter how we complain, you claim that that is the only thing you can do at this time, I beg to differ. That will be counterproductive going forward.
I recall that.
So there should be a fine balance between the quest to raise revenue by government and the conscious effort to make the business environment conducive.
Right. But from your own analysis, what's the difficulty in the effective expansion of the tax net? You know, that has been an issue on the table for quite a while now. We've been talking about expanding the tax net and the tax base for some time now as a country, even though we get all the support we need from even the international community to do this. I recall that for the past 3 years, the UK government has devoted quite some money to help the Ghana Revenue Authority in the process of identifying the taxable population. We're still having challenges with that. What exactly is the issue?
Well, there are grounded efforts in other economies to raise more revenue and to make the tax collecting efforts more efficient and less costly. One of the ways that we have found to galvanize tax mobilization or revenue mobilization is through what we call the Ghana card process. This card, when you go to other countries, is issued by the tax office, and every detail of use is predicated on that. If you go to school, the index number you get is predicated on that number. If you are going to be paid, the number that they are going to pay you through, it has a link with that. So it is easy for you to identify the economic activities for which people are paid and are supposed to be taxed. Unfortunately, all that we are doing, when you go to this place before you do transaction, they say your Ghana card and the rest. That Ghana card is not doing anything. That Ghana card is not doing anything. It's just a requirement that is imposed on people. It's not linked to people's economic activities. It's not linked to people's bank accounts. It's not linked into people's, index numbers in school. It's not linked to people's activity, payment habits. No, it's not linked to anything. But rather, we find it convenient to use it for election and identification of who is a Ghanaian and who is not a Ghanaian. So the Ghana card be reduced to election management tool instead of the general benefit to economy, general benefit to tax mobilization, etc.
I see. Now, Reverend John Awuni, you mentioned earlier about this particular challenge, and gentlemen, if you could hold a bit for me. I also have Dr. Joseph Obeng, the president of Ghana United Trade Association, GUTA, also joining us on this. Dr. Obeng, I thank you for your time here on Hot Edition. So I make reference to this study put together by the audit firm KPMG, revealing that businesses have this year been severely impacted by the cedi depreciation and inflation. I mean, as members of GUTA, you are also at the receiving end of the continuous depreciation of the cedi over a period and the relative stability that we have seen. So what's your verdict on this outcome of the study by KPMG?
This is what we've been saying all this time. So whatever report that they've given is perfect and very straight to the point. You see, cost of doing business here in the country is just too high. And especially coming from year 2022, especially last quarter of 2022, where most of our capitals have been depleted. over 50%. And then the high taxes that have been imposed on us through the IMF conditionalities and all that have made doing business here very unbearable. And so whatever report that they've given is very true. Look at the rate of inflation. Inflation is not helping us because business thrives on turnover. When there's inflation, when goods and services go up, what it means is that the consuming public cannot buy much as they were able to buy because their purchasing power have been so reduced. And this is what is happening to businesses. We are unable to pay our loans and all that. And that is leading so many businesses to bankruptcy. So the statement is very true. And we are not also competitive in the sub-region. The business that we do in the sub-region, we do not do it alone. We do it with our counterparts in the sub-region. And once our prices of goods are so high, it means that we are unable to compete with them. Even in the wake of the continental free trade, Ghana is really behind. We are not able to even supply to other nations as they do on the vice versa. And so we are pleading that cost of doing business be prone down, especially the taxes be reduced. VAT, as it is structured, is not helping us. For the VAT, we used to pay up to 2023 a VAT rate of 3%. And that was very affordable and simple also for compliance. Mm-hmm. Now, the VAT as it's structured is in three forms. Those who are paying the standard rate of 22%, those who are paying the flat rate of 4%, and those who are not registered to pay the VAT by virtue of the threshold of 200,000. So all of us are confined in one market, which is which make it disadvantage to those who have duly registered to collect the VAT. So it also needs to be restructured if even we want cost of doing business to come down. Because if we are able to do that, it means that it's going to, the inflation that we are experiencing, it's cost pushed one. It's not as a result of excess liquidity in the system. No, it's accumulation of cost that is going on. So it will be in our own interest when the cost of doing business come down, especially those of the taxes. That's why we are advocating that the COVID levy be removed. It should be taken off the table.
That's it. Well, let me just do this quickly. And Dr. Zobing, appreciate your time. Let me run up with you for a quick one, Reverend Awuni, on the specific concern that you raised about the import duties as well, and how that also impacts on the prices that we, the final consumers, also buy. What do you expect of this 2024 budget to address that specifically?
Well, clearly the duties must come down. Over the years, we've been talking about let them increase duties in order to protect the local sector. Now, it's very difficult to import vehicles into the country. If you import a simple car into the country and you look at the amount of duty that you pay, it is just like a punishment. And yet we do not have sufficient cars. In fact, I tried buying one of the local cars that were manufactured here, and I was shocked the price that they put it as. And then I tried to find out and say, oh, the cars were just not even manufactured, but they were assembled here. So if you go and increase duty such high levels, because you are just bringing the car parts and assembling them here, I don't think that makes, for me, I don't think that it makes a lot of economic sense. You are simply punishing your citizens when you are not ready to protect, when you are not ready yet for the market. So I think that clearly there are a lot of stuff in the import area they should be able to bring down, to bring activity back, bring business back in the port, in the Ghana port. As it is now, a lot of goods are passing through Togo, a lot of goods are passing through Cote d'Ivoire. And that shows that the Ghana port is no more a competitive area or a competitive door to use. And so the finance minister and the policy, they must look critical at awakening that port sector, bringing business back to that port sector by reducing the import duties. if you look at the price of rice, you cannot buy. It's as a result of taxes. Look at a chicken, you cannot buy. It's a result of taxes. Yet the local chicken, you can't even buy that one equal. The local chicken is even more expensive. So there's a lot to be done, a lot of engineering to be done in this budget to ensure that there's a balance between, in terms of your mobilizing your revenue, and also to be able to bring back business and joy in the faces of the industry players.
Okay. Reverend Owoni, appreciate your time as always. Thank you so much. And Professor Jongati, on this bit about the import levy, that in fact, according to what you just heard from the food and beverages and indeed the GUTA, all talking about this impacting on the business at the ports, and a lot more people are now doing their business through the Togo ports because of the cheap import duties they are paying there. What can be done about this?
Well, I think all these things are because of the disruption in economic indicators. It has the influence from the inflation. Inflation has dropped from 54% to around 38% over a 5-month period. That 5-month period is enough to see some pass-through effect. But we are not seeing any indication of prices changing in the market, and therefore we don't see any change on the main indicators such as interest rate and the rest. And the moment you see exchange rates depreciating, then the cost to the importers become even more precarious. So unless we have a hold on the depreciation and then we put policy in place to protect those who are operating at the port, we will continue to be having this discussion. But as we are expecting, depreciation has started occurring. As it aggravates more, what you import and pay for today, the cost that you incur in clearing your goods will not be the same. It will go up as a result of depreciation. So we need to work hard to tame all these indicators in order to create an environment that is conducive.
Professor Gachi, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. John Gachi is the University of Cape Coast Business School. Also to you, Reverend John Owoni, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And he's the Executive Director of the Food and Beverage Association of Ghana. And also to you, Dr. Joseph Obeng, thank you for joining us, the President of the Ghana Union Trade Association, GUTA. All of these conversations are the expectations of the business community and then also economists ahead of the 2024 budget presentation. Remember, this is going to be a budget for the election year. That's number one. And then also a budget, the first full-scale fiscal budget after we have had the approval of the IMF for this 3-year program with them. So there's a lot that will be at play for this 2024 budget, and especially whether or not the business community's expectations will be met of this 2024 budget. So stay with us. Here we have a big conversation ahead of the budget presentation at 6 p.m. as well, also on Business Focus on TV3, and then also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook. But the National Security Minister has condemned the attack on residents of Garua and Timpani in the Upper East region by some military officers. One person died, fortunately, with several others hospitalized after the national security operatives were allegedly attacked. Now, after some twists and turns on whether the minister should appear before Parliament upon summons, Albert Kandapa says the perpetrators must be condemned. Take a listen.
Their arrival in Garu, the team was besieged by some irate youth who were armed with weapons, including AK-47 rifles, among others. Mr. Speaker, despite initial attempts to introduce themselves as national security personnel, the irate youth proceeded to attack the officers by firing multiple gunshots at a black Toyota Land Cruiser in which the officers were seated. Mr. Speaker, following an escalation of the attacks on their vehicle, the officers drove to the Garu police station to seek refuge. The irate youth then pursued the officers, encircled the police station, and fired multiple shots at sea. The timely intervention of personnel of the Ghana Armed Forces enabled the safe evacuation of the national security personnel from the Garu police station. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, the House will agree with me that the attack on the national security personnel and also the Garu police station was reprehensible and must be condemned in no uncertain terms. Mr. Speaker, in many other jurisdictions, such attacks on security personnel in the course of their legitimate duties would be classified as an attack on the state.
Well, the Minister of National Security, Kandapa, also said the case is before the court and will be fully prosecuted.
Mr. Speaker, subsequent to all this, on Saturday, October 28, 2023, the Minister of National Security and the Ghana Armed Forces conducted a joint operation in Garu to seize weapons used by the irate youth groups to attack the national security personnel. Mr. Speaker, in the aftermath of the joint operation, reports have emerged in respect of some excesses by the personnel who conducted the operation. Mr. Speaker, this aspect of the matter is currently before the court. It will therefore be inappropriate for me to comment on the matter as it would amount to contempt of court. That said, however, I would like to urge honorable members of the House to please exercise circumspection in discussing the matter for some three reasons. First, Mr. Speaker, because of the dire security situation we are confronted with in Boko as a result of the existing ethnic conflict in that area. Second, because of counter-terrorism operations going on in the area. And third, Mr. Speaker, because of the need to not to demotivate and demoralize our state security personnel.
As Kandapa, National Security Minister there, and we are mindful of these issues and these three reasons why he says this matter should be discussed with a lot of circumspection. We're mindful of that, and we're going to be very, very limited in our conversation, but it is worth hearing from members of parliament in this area. And one of the longest serving MPs in this 8th parliament. He's had a lot of impact on our democracy and also security evolution in this country. He's a member of parliament for the Zebila constituency in the Upper East region. He's a leader of the Upper East MPs caucus, the minority in parliament. He's joining us, the Honorable Cletus Avoka. Thank you so much, Cletus Avoka, for your time here on Hot Edition. Now, hearing the National Security Minister finally appear before the House, give the national security's narrative of what happened. Does it address the concerns that you had prior to his coming, that this joint operation has left over 50 of your people hospitalized, may need more questions than answers?
Yes. Yes. Hello, Alfred.
I can hear you.
I'm very sorry for the hijab. I've indicated I'm in my car on my way home.
That's okay.
So forgive me if there's any issue at all.
That's
but
right.
I want to agree with you that following the statement made by the Honorable Minister for National Security, there are more questions than answers in the statement or on this whole affair of military brutalities on the people of Garu, Timpane, and Bogre in the Boku enclave. I'm saying so against the backdrop that the National Security Minister and the Deputy Majority Leader in Parliament have contradicted themselves on this matter. And one wonders who is talking the truth. Last Friday, when the Deputy Majority was reading the business statement for this week, he indicated that those who were arrested from the area, Garo and the Bogori and the Timpani areas, and brought to Accra have been released, and that they have been set free. And that against that background, there was no need for the National Security Minister to come to Parliament to make a statement or explain the issues again, because the matter is over. He said that on the floor of Parliament last Friday, only for Minister for National Security to come today to say that the people are not, they are arraigned before court, and then they are going to prosecute them. Be that as it may, and without prejudice to whatever is taking place, I think that the first observation to make is that the National Security Minister was very, very economical with the truth and the facts during his presentation this afternoon in Parliament House.
Why do you say that?
I'm saying so against the backdrop that, look, these national security personnel on the 24th of October were seen at an odd place in Garo. They were not at the police station. They were not within the premises of the district chief executive. They were not in the company of the National Bureau of Investigation in the Garo. Nobody knew of their presence. Assuming that they came there for an operation, they just needed to report to the DCE or the police that, oh, we have an operation here. They don't need to tell them the details of the operation, that we are here on a mission. That alone is enough. They didn't tell anybody. And having regard to the concept of see something, say something, some two men saw these people in a car, virtually dozing. And they said, what do you want? Who are you? And they said, National Security Operatives. What do you want? They said, they are here on a mission. Then why are you not at the police station? Is the police aware? They said they haven't gone to police. They don't know where the police station is. So they said, okay, let's send you to police station for safety. So they drove, they led the way, and then the operatives followed them in their car to the police station. It was at the police station when the police received them, they put them in the counterback, and then decided to conduct a search on the vehicle. When they conducted the search, they saw AK assault weapons, and then the ammunition, and then the bulletproof belts in the car. So this alarmed the villagers, the local people, who were saying, but this is a security zone. If the people are carrying these arms and ammunition, we don't know what their mission is actually. Let's conduct search on the rest of the car, the boot of the car, to see whether we can see more arms and whatnot. And they did. They were reluctant to do that. That invited the firing of bullets into the car. At the time that they were firing the bullets, the National Security Operatives were not in the car. It was at the police station that they deflated the tires and they started firing.
The National Security Operatives were not in the car when the youth fired
at all
into this V8?
Fred, they were not in the car. And it's not for anything that none of them was injured in the process or hurt at all in any way.
So where were they?
They were at the police station. They were at the counterback.
So why then did they fire into the car when there's nobody?
They fired into the car because they thought that the car had cache of arms. They suspected the car. You know, it's a security zone. Mm-hmm. There is mutual suspicion between the various factions there. So when the car came, they thought that it was bring arms and ammunition to support one of the factions. So that agitated the minds of the youth. And that is why they wanted to see the inside of the car, the boot. And they were not opening it. That infuriated them to fire at the car. But there was no human soul in the car at the time. All the national security operatives have been evacuated, and they were in the custody of the police. We are in the hands of the police, very safe. So to say that they attacked the car with machetes and guns and whatnot, they should produce the car and we see.
Okay,
how could they attack the car from all angles that none of them was hurt in the process?
But when they got to the police station,
yes,
we understand that there was some gunshots as well in the police station.
In fact, there were some gunshots.
Yes,
on the car.
some of the youth surrounded the police station and they fired. Yes. They fired into the police station. What was the purpose of that?
I don't know, because I wasn't there, and I don't want to assume that I know why they were doing that. But I'm saying that the reason we have asked some of them, they said that because they were reluctant to open the car, so they inspect the boot to see whether there were more arms there or not, and whether they were carrying it to one of the factions or not. That infuriated them, to do the firing. That was what that had happened. Fred, let's examine this thing in holistically. Now, this happened at Garu town. Bugri is about 15 kilometers away from Garu town. Garu is about Chimpane is about 10 kilometers away from Garu town. Those two areas, Bugri and Chimpane youth or people, never knew that there was an operation in Garu on the 24th. Why did you come to go to Bugri to attack innocent people and then Chimpane to attack innocent people when they were not at the scene? Some incidents take place in Tema. Then you go to Tema to attack the people, and then you attack Accra people. What was the purpose? What? Can he explain that?
Well.
And assuming that what he's saying is true, I mean, everybody has condemned the incident, including government officials on the spot. The district chief executive of Garu addressed a press conference. I mean, the people who demonstrated against the military brutalities sent a petition to him. He was in the company of the district chief executive of Chimpane. The two of them received the petition, and then they condemned. They joined the villagers or the Garo people to condemn the incident, assuming that they were actually they had attacked the military personnel and then damaged a car or damaged the police station. The rest of them, would the government official come out and condemn the military brutalities? Then the Regional Peace Council condemned the act. Then the Boku Traditional Council, the Kusa Traditional Council, condemned the act. Then the Catholic Diocese of Bolgatanga and Navrongo, which encompasses Boku and for that matter Garo Chimpane, condemned the act. Are we saying that all these people and institutions are blinded to the truth and the fact? In any case, they brought only 8 people. They had arrested about 100 and then about 150, beat them, maimed them, and the rest of them. Are they saying that they conduct an intelligence investigation and then identify the 8 people they brought to Accra?
So, I mean, these are questions that you want the National Security Minister to answer, but after he presented a statement in Parliament today, yes. Did MPs have the opportunity to ask questions?
I always say that we had opportunity. The Speaker, before he left the chair for the first Deputy Speaker, said that they would take only the MPs from the Chimpane and then Garu, whose concern were affected. We said this is a national exercise. What they did is a national exercise. Human rights affects everybody in the country. So you can't say that only the MP from Chimpane and Garu to say something. And the minister also tried to put a caveat that the matter is in court, so nobody should be commenting on it. And it tells you that government officials don't want the matter to be discussed in public. That is why the Deputy Majority Leader rushed to say that the people have been released, so the minister doesn't need to come to Parliament again and say anything. Even if they were released, why did you bring them to Accra? Can't he explain that for us to understand? And then the minister comes to say that, no, they have not been released. Maybe they have also only been granted bail, but the matter is sub judice, so we should not comment on it. Why are they saying all this? Why do they want to gag people? So I didn't contribute. I'm a senior member. When you started by saying that there are 6 constituencies from the Boko area, because I'm their head. I'm their senior. I rose, but the speaker would not call me. The ranking member for the Committee on Defense and Interior, who is also from the Upper East region, James Agaga, rose to speak, and then he was not allowed, and several others. So it was not fairly treated on the floor of the House.
So how then do you intend to, what other avenues do you intend to employ to get answers to these questions you're asking briefly?
We will engage our leadership and find out whether we can also make a fresh statement on the floor of the House or not. That even though the matter is sub judice, we will know what to say without prejudicing the matter. What is the charge that they have given them? We saw it, causing damage. Causing damage. We are not saying the car was not damaged. The car was damaged. That is true. There was damage. There are some short holes in the car. The car was damaged. Is that enough to maltreat 150 Ghanaians because one vehicle has been damaged? Is that enough threat for us to brutalize many as over 150 Ghanaians? And some of them are still on admission today, and one of them is even dead. Is it enough to extend the life of a Land Cruiser to the lives of several other people in the country? Is that the type of country we are heading? we are living in.
Cletus Avoka, appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cletus Avoka is Member of Parliament for the Zebela constituency, one of the longest serving MPs in this 8th Parliament, having served in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then this 8th Parliament. Now, families of the late Victoria Dapa, who was murdered at Edum, they are worried over the strike of jurors in that region. Now, they fear the continuous absence of jurors will unduly prolong the case of their deceased daughter. Now, there's more in this following report.
It could best be described as no-show in court when the case involving a police officer accused of killing his girlfriend was called here at the Kumasi High Court. Although the accused, the state and the defense counsels were present in court, the case had to be adjourned due to the absence of the jurors. The jurors are on strike over unpaid allowance since March 2022. Family of the late Majwa appear unhappy with the development as they fear this may delay the case. Nanado Berima is the family head.
Ni said the near dear Nenka assembly best started. Now to do for our strike, Yentin Bianca, Hadjini, Busiana Hayapa. We are trying to tell the Jews to help us to squeeze themselves to come and help the family, because sometimes it can go to your way, it can go to the other way. And at the same time, we are telling the government to, help the Jews to do whatever they want, so that they can return to court and help the needy.
Inspector Ahmed Chumesi was arrested in April 2023 after he shot his girlfriend multiple times, leading to a death. He will reappear in court on December 4. However, until the jurors resume their services, the case will continue to be adjourned. In a related development, family of the Missing Lands Commission staff, Rodley Amwa, has placed 100,000 Ghana cedis bounty for information that will lead to a whereabout. The 32-year-old senior lands administrative officer has been missing since 2021. Her husband, Dr. Obafos Agri, a lecturer at the Petroleum Department of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, who is accused of kidnapping his wife, is on trial at the Kumasi High Court. A third witness was cross-examined by the Defense Counsel on Monday, November 13, and the process is expected to be completed in the next adjourned date, December 12, 2023. Cecilia Obenewa Apia is the mother of Rodalyn.
All these bureaucracies that are going on is not bringing my daughter. I need my daughter. That is the bottom line. The bottom line is that I need Rhoda. That is why I have appealed, and I continually appeal to all Ghanaians. That's why we have put 100,000 Ghana cedis on Rhoda, that whoever finds her, or whoever has knowledge, or whoever knows where she has been kept, please, I am on my knees. It's my daughter I need. It's my daughter I need. It has been 2 years and over. It's not easy.
Ibrahim Abubakar, Kumasi.
Very worrying development there. Ibrahim Abubakar is my colleague in the Ashanti region, reporting for us. It's live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and also on W93.5 and beyond. Remember, Hot Edition is probably brought to you by Old Mutual. Benefit from my expertise in offering comprehensive solutions to expand your investment and also find insurance policies that shield your businesses from the uncertainties of financial loss. Old Mutual do great things every day. The business news is back right after this quick break with Emmanuel Obodo. Stay with us.
Hello there, welcome to the business segment here on Hot Edition. My name is Michael Obodu. Coming up, pressure on cedi mounts after local currency depreciates by 0.41% against the US dollar ahead of the Christmas festivities. We have the details coming up shortly. Well, thank you for staying with us. Straight into our top story. As ahead of the Christmas festivities, the high demand for the US dollar continues to weigh on the Ghanaian cedi as the local currency lost some ground against the American currency today. According to data from the forex markets, the local currency depreciated by 0.41% day on day. The Fly Report has the details.
Now trading at 12 cedis, 13 pesos on average to $1 in the retail market. However, the Bank of Ghana is quoting $1 to 11 cedis, 52 pesos on the interbank market. Some market analysts are attributing the recent depreciation of the local currency to the Christmas festivities, while importers are bringing in more goods onto the market to sell. However, the expected inflows from the cocoa syndication loan and the 600 million International Monetary Fund will reverse the depreciation. Therefore, any delays will worsen the plight of the local currency. Presently, the cedi has lost almost 12% in value to the dollar in the retail market since the beginning of the year, whilst it had depreciated by almost 23% in the interbank market. Analysts had earlier said the outlook of the local currency now hinges on the timing of the anticipated foreign exchange inflows from the cocoa syndicated loan and the second tranche of the International Monetary Fund.
So that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, for the first time in about 9 months, interest rates on Treasury bills have reduced marginally following an oversubscription of about 25.7% in the latest Treasury auction. Experts are attributing the decline to anticipated reduction in inflation rate. Lead researcher at GCB Capital, Alfred Ocansey, spoke to 3 Business on the matter.
It could reach about 31% thereabout by year end. Now, if that is the case, negative real returns will start to correct a bit, and so investors can afford to accept maybe lower rate for the T-bill issuances. I guess that is playing a role in the minds of maybe some investors, so they are not going as aggressive as they should. And it looks like this government is also taking advantage of the situation to try to trim yields a bit. People who are not very satisfied with the aggressive decline in yields will look for alternatives on the FX market, which may bring back another bout of depreciation and all of that, really. So it has to be gradual. It has to be steady. And once inflation declines significantly, which we expect to be the case maybe in November, you can begin to see maybe a more pronounced decline in yields.
Alfred Ocansey is lead researcher at GCB Capital. Now, ahead of the 2024 budget to be presented by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GREDA, is requesting the government to review the country's home mortgage finance system. Executive Secretary Sami Amegaibo expressed worry that application for home mortgage financing in the country is cumbersome, a situation which often deters applicants. He noted that banks are no longer getting enough funding to be invested in the mortgage industry.
The budget in the past 4 years or so does not seem to mention or make a specific pronouncement on any provision for housing delivery in Ghana. The last major intervention we had, or we remember, is the one that was made for the Ministry of Finance to do mortgage financing for public sector. And even that, it was meant for, it's a pilot, it was meant for a pilot program, and also restricted to the public sector only. And since then, we haven't heard anything. I think that intervention was very useful and very necessary, but unfortunately, it seems to have remained at pilot stage, and we don't seem to have heard anything. Even the banks that were engaged to disburse those funding, I think they disbursed this long ago. And some of them are still somehow managing to continue it in a way through their own means.
Well, that was Samia Megaibo. He is Executive Secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, bringing an end to the business segment here on Hot Edition. My name is Michael Obodu. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next is sports. Well, let's start our sports this evening from the camps of the Black Stars. I am Kelvin Owusu-Ansah. Well, the Ghana Black Stars are set to play Madagascar this Friday in the Africa World Cup qualifiers. Well, at the Barbara Sports Stadium, kickoff for the game is at 4 p.m. and the team has already released the itinerary from now till Friday. So the arrival of the players expected this evening. We have on the 4th tomorrow. They are holding a closed-door training session, and then there would also be the flight to Kumasi on Wednesday with a pre-match conference scheduled for Thursday at 3:30 p.m. before the team trains at 4:30. The game day is on Friday at 4 p.m. against Madagascar. So that is it there from the camps of the senior national team, the Black Stars of Ghana. Now moving on. This evening, Black Princess coach Yusuf Basigi has revealed that the team needed lots of support in their build-up to the game, all because they struggled with the weather conditions. He says that his team had to really acclimatize to the difference in weather conditions in Eswatini before they managed to get into their groove in the game.
It was all about the weather, the change of weather, and then the rain. In fact, it changed the whole pattern of our game, and it paid for the home team. So quickly I had to readjust our tactical plan, and it worked. And then I have to also give them the courage, because already I have seen them for the first 45 minutes, and then the rest belongs to us. So we knew how we had to work to get our goals.
So that is Yusuf Basigi, the head coach for the Black Princesses, who thrashed Eswatini 6-1. Now, Aduana Football Club had a resounding victory over BBN Gold Stars in the Ghana Premier League at the Nana Adjumambedo, the second pack in Doma this afternoon. The final game for match week 10. A brace from Emmanuel Jemfi and Isaac Mintawa, the 31st minute, where all three goals coming in the first 30 minutes helped the Oja boys to get all 3 points from the game. Now to South Africa, and Rolani Mukwena, who is the head coach for Mamelodi Sundowns, has revealed that his team is not going to be complacent after winning the maiden edition of the Africa Football League.
No, but they know they'll be in big trouble with me. There'll be big issues. This is a special group. Believe you me, we lost in Casablanca 2-1. We had a training session the next day with a couple of the players that didn't play, and I can tell you, we trained like a team that had just lost 5-0. And the mentality from Rushindo Rook, Brian Onyango, Nao Mahema in that training session was just unbelievable. And they really pushed. And this is what makes this group so special, the sense of brotherhood, their loyalty and their commitment to this badge. And don't worry, there will be no sense of complacency. I will not allow it.
Rolani Mukwena saying that he's not going to allow any form of complacency within his team. Now, finally, to Brighton and Hove Albion boss Roberto De Zerbi, and he's complained of officiating after he was booked. And midfielder Mahmoud Daoud was sent off in the weekend's 1-0 draw to Sheffield United in the Premier League.
I'm honest and clear. I don't like the 80% of England referee, but it's not a new thing, no, because I don't like them. The behavior, they don't. I don't like their behavior on the pitch. No.
So that is it there from Roberto De Zerbi, head coach for Brighton and Hove Albion there. There will be lots more on News 360. Bilishan will be giving you much more on the Black Stars, and tomorrow will be coming your way with a lot more. Akofa comes your way with entertainment. My name is Kelvin Owusu-Ansah.
Well, thank you very much, Kelvin, for bringing us all those sports updates. Thank you for keeping your dial locked on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. It's now time for the entertainment news segment powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Now let's get into the stories now. Highly revered Ghanaian reggae and dancehall music superstar Emmanuel Andrew Samini, popularly known as Samini's Moving, his annual Samini Experience concert out of Accra for the first time. The third edition of the Samini Experience concert will be held on December 24, 2023 in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, Ghana. Now, Samini made this known during a press conference. Speaking at the press conference, Samini explained the choice of Kumasi for the third edition of the concert. He said, Kumasi has one of my biggest followings when I check my data. It is one of the biggest strongholds. So, after 2 successful runs in Accra, we thought it wise to move to another terrain where we would be received well. In fact, all the odds show that Kumasi was the chosen city again. I've seen the kind of energy, love, and support Kumasi shows me anytime I perform in the city. Speaking on expectations for December 24, 2023, Samini, who is well celebrated for his showmanship, promised an out-of-this-world experience to fans and people who will patronize the event. Details about ticket prices and outlets are set to be announced soon. Now, away from that, let's turn our attention to another spectacular performer. Ghanaian songstress Ifia has spoken about collaborations that have given her the biggest visibility in the music space. Ifia, one of the Ghanaian artists with the highest number of features and collaborations, said in an interview that her best collaborations are songs she did with Sarkodie. I have worked with almost 120 artists, so the hardest collaborations will be anything that I did with Sarkodie. Ifia has over the years exhibited great artistry either on her own songs or joint music projects. Some of her highly rated collaborations are I'm in Love with You and Sarah by Sarkodie, Hold Me Down by Akwabwa, One of Your Own featuring Bisakade, among others. Now, she also reiterated nowadays it depends. She also she's currently out with her new EP titled No More Tears. Now, finally, before I go, American rapper Drake is headed back out on the road next year. Earlier today, the God's Plan crooner shared the date for his upcoming 2024 US run titled It's All a Blur Tour, Big as the What, which will feature support from J. Cole on most dates. Now, the 22-date run of show will feature a number of back-to-back arena dates, kicking off with 2 gigs at Ball Arena in Denver, January 18 and 19. Now, the 2024 dates will follow on the heels of Drake's recently completed It's All a Blur tour, which found the rapper playing in 50 sold-out arena dates across North America in the summer and fall in support of his 8th studio album, For All the Dogs. Now, that ends the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Thank you for your time.